Donald Trump is not dismissing the possibility of political violence if he loses the 2024 presidential race. Now, we know about this thanks to some of the quotes he gave to Time during a lengthy interview. When asked about the prospect of violence tied to November's elections in a recent interview with Time magazine, Trump said, quote, "I think we're going to win, and if we don't, it depends. It always depends on the fairness of an election." Now, mind you, he is still claiming that what happened to him in 2020 is unfair. He still claims that the election was stolen from him, even though he has had dozens of opportunities before judges to prove his case. He has failed to provide any evidence of losing the election. So the fact that he says something like this, of course, it's the perfect, quote for the fodder that Democrats are looking for to campaign on. So congratulations. In other words, he's saying there might be violence if I lose and tell my supporters that there was voter fraud. Now, he also apparently thinks the election won't be rigged this time around like he falsely claimed in 2020. "I do think we're going to win. I don't believe they'll be able to do the things that they did the last time, and I don't think they'll be able to get away with it." Of course, no one got away with anything. He had dozens of opportunities to provide evidence in the courts to show that there was widespread voter fraud that would change the results of the election and overturn the results of the election. No evidence was provided. And he also said that he would consider pardons for every one of his supporters accused of attacking the Capitol on January 6th. And so we'll get to that in just a moment. I'll give you his quotes, but Cenk, why don't you jump in?
Pausing here to deliver some honest truth as we do in our news coverage as well. TYT is facing challenges, guys, as the entire industry is. You know who could make the difference? You. If you hit the join button below, it's gonna make all the difference and keep us in business. We appreciate you, thank you.
So look, this is why I can never support Bozo the clown, Bozo the fascist. So establishment's a nightmare, I can't stand them. But then here comes Donald Trump pretending to be a populist. And so people then go, oh my God, anti-establishment, we're really excited. And then what does he do? He takes in a fascist direction and ruins the whole thing. So we'll have to see if there's gonna be violence. If I lose, of course there's gonna be violence. Come on, MAGA, you don't see it? You don't see it? And probably a lot of the MAGA probably thinks, well, what do you mean? I do see it and I like it. If they steal the election again, in other words, I don't give a goddamn about democracy. We should be in power. And if we're not in power, of course we're gonna do violence. Well, come get your stupid ass boy, okay, Donald Trump, constantly threatening to overturn democracy, not give a damn who actually won the election. He hates America. He despises America. The idea of equality and freedom, no, he just wants to be the final boss. And he's like, well, if I win, of course there won't be violence, but if I lose, well, like any good fascist, I'm gonna bring as much violence as I possibly can. Piece of crap.
Yeah, I'm worried that there's gonna be violence no matter what the results are, okay? I don't know if Democratic voters are gonna be angry to the extent that I think Trump supporters would be angry if Trump were to lose, right?
No, Democrats are just gonna cry.
But I do think that some people are gonna get super worked up. I don't doubt that there would be protests on the streets. There would be counter protests. Things would devolve into violence as they typically do when these protests and counter protests take place. I am concerned about not only what the outcome of the election is gonna be, but more importantly, what the response to the outcome of the election is gonna be. We are so deeply divided. We exist in these filter bubbles where most Americans, depending on what their news diet consists of, are only getting one side of the story. And so all of those Trump supporters who rioted on January 6th genuinely thought that the election was stolen. They genuinely did. And part of it is due to the lies that the Trump camp was spreading. And those lies were then amplified by conservative media.
So tons of Democrats get mad at me because I'm not angry enough at MAGA guys themselves. I've said a billion terrible things about the bad end of MAGA. I think that there are deplorable guys in MAGA. I think that a lot of them do have issues on racial and blah, blah, blah lines, right? But overall, they're human beings, they're Americans that were greatly deceived. They didn't think that Biden had won. You might think that's just the craziest thing in the world, and I think that's the craziest thing in the world. But they genuinely thought Trump won. But establishment media never, ever acknowledges that. And that's why I don't get mad at MAGA guys anywhere near as much as I get mad at Trump himself, all the goons at Fox News, everyone lying to you in right-wing media, pretending he won the election. Then they had to pay nearly $1 billion. Do you think they're gonna pay $1 billion because they weren't lying? They have an army of lawyers. They were all lying. There's not a single shred of evidence that Trump has ever presented. And he's on charges right now. Why doesn't he present the evidence? What do you mean insurrection? I won the election, here it is, right? Because he's a liar. And he got all of you guys to believe that it was in reverse, that the Biden team stole the election, when in reality, he was trying to steal the election. Donald Trump is one of the worst things to ever happen in this country. And not because of the establishment talking points, but because he took the populist energy in this country that was correct about how awful the establishment is, and then he redirected it towards fascism and personal narcissistic glory. In fact, if the MAGA guys ever find out what a bastard Trump is and how he screws them over and over again, that's the thing Trump should actually worry about.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.